This is the new Roth Show. Tom, I have decided. It's the new Roth Show. Do I look like the new Roth? You can call me the new Roth. Who are you working with? Not just Dave. It's not just Roth.
It's the new Roth.
I work with the new Roth.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of look like, there's an action figure hero who actually has this haircut. And when I do that 80s thing where I suck my cheeks in and look straight into the camera and raise one eyebrow like Sting, right?
Right.
You never knew the ingredients. I can see the face, even without my reading glasses, right? That's, actually, it's not Sting. It's Alex from Clockwork Orange.
There you go.
I was imitating that for all of these years, okay? And once you get that kind of a look, this haircut looks like Doctor Strange or something, right? One of those characters, okay? And it goes with the new Dave. And I'm thinking, okay, the Roth Show, this is the new Roth Show, newrothshow.com, all right? The new Roth Show. It's got a good vibe. It's shiny. It's brand new. 24 coats of hand-rubbed lacquer. Pearlescent blue iris midnight black. Okay, and where do we want to drive this to? Because, Tom, I've decided we should drive it to Las Vegas. I want to go to Las Vegas, and I don't want to just go to Las Vegas, dude, because I don't know how to gamble. Okay? Do you know how to gamble?
A little bit.
Okay. What game do you know how to play? Get right on that mic. Tell us right.
Blackjack. I like blackjack.
Okay.
A little bit of Texas Hold'em, but you got to pretend you know how to play cards at that point.
And Texas Hold'em, you got to be able to take the swings. It's called the swings. In our business, it's called a bum album. It's number 48 with an anchor. We won't be back with it right after this. You're one of those kinds of announcements, right? Truly.
Yeah.
Okay. But I've been thinking about, where would we drive? Where would we go to do a different kind of show? And I'm thinking Las Vegas. All right. I've played everywhere on earth. I've played virtually every I've even played Las Vegas, but I played it right before it became hip and young and skinny in its vibe. Again, you don't got to be young and skinny to have a young and skinny vibe. We'll call it beginner's mind. All right. Always have that. And it makes you feel young and skinny. It doesn't matter what you built like. You can be the front line of the Detroit, whatever. Beginner's mind. And that's what Vegas kind of turned into. But just as it was turning, I had to put together a big band, a bunch of folks, great band, brass, etc. But my humor, as you may have discerned, is a bit larcenous. All right. And it was kind of in that transition when it was going family. They would have, they built the pyramid and they still had Circus, and it was very much for family. And I got fired. This is like 20 summers ago, okay? 20 summers ago, and I got fired from the MGM Grand for one specific joke, okay? I turned and I said, look at these girls. We had great dancing mambo, mamacitas dancing up there. And I said, look at our girls, ladies and gentlemen. Hot enough to make Michael Jackson quit the Boy Scouts. Boom. I don't know. What's the sound of getting fired? Okay.
Yeah. So,
right. we went over to another hotel. I forget which. Oh, it's Bally's. Another great one. At the time, perhaps arguably the second biggest hotel in Vegas, consequently the Earth. And I got fired for another joke. I was performing with Edgar Winter at the time, a close friend, still. We did some great, that's the saxophones on I Ain't Got Nobody, Just a Gigolo. He's the one that orchestrated, sang California Girls. It was an amazing session along with the David Letterman band. All right. There's the Paul Schaefer band that's playing California Girls, Just a Gigolo and so forth. Sid McGinnis, all these characters, an amazing arrangement. It was all done in one weekend. Edgar Winter, like his recently gone brother, Johnny, is albino. And at the time, these are insensitive times. Back then, considered to now, it's probably not something that I would ever say. But I got a charge, and I admit, in full disclosure, it's probably insensitive by today's criterial standards. But I turned to Edgar Winter, who's an albino, and said, "Edgar, lighten up." Boom, same sound. And sometimes people try to, needle me with it. 3/8 inch masonry bolt. Hey, how about the career, bro? Hey, what'd you ever get fired from? Carl's? Not even curling. It's perspective.
Absolutely.
Altering perspectives from the ground up. But Las Vegas has changed la mente. Orale. Okay, everything has changed, right?
Yeah.
The podosphere, the blogosphere, the grid, cyberspace, the cyber grid, barefoot techno babies wired to the sound. I want to join. Whatever they're having, I want that too. Is that actually a drink? I'll have a double barefoot techno baby, please. And no, not to go. I'm going to drink it here. Where's here? Las Vegas. That's what I think. Because you can do something that is stratospheric now, like a mini Super Bowl, mid-time, halftime, okay? You can do mini Sonic Boom of the South. I saw the drum and marching bugle corps competition at the Super Bowl. This was a few summers ago. And it's just drums and only brass. Most amazing thing that I have seen. Well, second most amazing thing. And the first is Playboy magazine at the age of 12. I shared that earlier. Excuse me. And you think, oh, that's all blaring and, so forth. No. They always start almost the same way. One French horn skips out into the middle of the field, this whole football field, and the rest of the band hasn't entered onto the turf yet. And one person skips out silently. The entire crowd, there's probably 70,000 people there, skips out into the middle of the 50-yard line. And he always drops down, and one French horn usually and it's tohipi, distant echo. And man, it makes you aware of passage of time, and it's the opposite of gangbusters. And slowly, like a California earthquake, which is my nickname, begins to build. Actually, my nickname is the California Casanova. Lawrence of La Brea. Lamar, actually, how do you do? Welcome to the New Dave Show. Anyhow, if I go to Las Vegas, I don't want to just get up and play a bunch of classic Van Halen hits. Okay? I have probably, 12, 13 songs that you would know instantly in 82 languages. Believe me, I have drank free and ate free once or twice and never asked for either one. I'm that guy. People can imitate me. We discussed that. There's only how many singers today that you could go put down your cerveza and go, okay, who is this? Oh, that's Mick Jagger. If you try and use Dave Grohl, I could do it because I'm a pro. I can recognize the musician from across the room, okay? But is there somebody certified? You jump, you know what you're going to do. You're going to touch your toe. You're going to, the mile-wide smile that actually, I can get my smile, and I did this with practice. I couldn't originally do it as a kid, of course. It's not genetically possible. You have to work it like the contortionists in Cirque du Soleil. I can actually get my smile to wrap all the way around my head. Now, you can feel it. You can't see it. I know that. No, I'm talking to the audience, Tom. You can actually see it. To continue the mile-wide smile, which is an attitude, furious belligerence, belligerent enthusiasm, enthusiastic belligerence. I know the perfect person to split that show, make that beautiful. You got to do a tandem thing, because otherwise I'm going to go out and we're going to run with the devil and we might as well jump. And, okay, well, I'm just a gigolo. And it's great. But that's just kind of a recitation. That's not pizzazz, glamour, sexy, fashion, noise, a little bit of vulgar, just enough. I'll tell you when, keep pouring. Right? It's a kind of a show I'm going to need somebody who can go with me to be the drum major over at Ultra. That's 50,000 of our closest friends going booch, 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 booch in the background, okay? And then we can wander over to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo and don't blink, because the title is a little bit confusing. There's 70,000 people dancing to Ariana Grande and Cardi B and Drake and Jason Aldean and Chesney and all the rockers in between. Hello.
Yep.
Okay? Hello. You got to be comfortable in your cowboy boots. And I'm assuming this is going to be a female. It's going to be a woman. Okay? It's got to be comfortable dressed up and standing in front of a dance line that looks like the Addicted to Love girls. Get that in your mind's eye. Okay, got it right there. And I'm thinking, who could that possibly be? Because I've been working at this, because I know what the show would look like, and I'm going to describe it at length exhaustively. Okay? The word absolutely, everybody misuses it constantly. I don't know anything in life that's absolute, not even taxes, judging from the news in Washington. Mine are absolute, but nothing's absolute. Absolutely, I know the very, very, very best person that I could possibly do the show with, okay? And I'm kind of doing a shout out with it because I know, Hope and Fan, well, nobody needs to do it because we could each be popular. So, no. Talking about money at the dinner table is unseemly and fucking gross. I made my fortune. And so did she. And I'm going to tell you who it is right after this, baby. Somewhere there is an island. And on this island, she waits. That's as far as I got. 'Cause there ain't no island. It's a rooftop, and it's inner city, and it's tar paper, it's Tar Beach, and you're getting a sunburn on those tattoos. We don't have a secret ingredient. You're paying us for what's not in the bottle. 100% organic, except when it isn't, and sometimes it's not. I don't have a personal problem with a little bit of poison, Wednesday nights, Fridays. Long as it's self-applied. And application's what ink is all about. It's like a big chapstick. Won't open up in your backpack, the glove compartment, your back pocket, the wetsuit. We do it all. Laugh to win. Real world gear for people who wear their tattoos hard. Get your naked on. Drives tight, light, ready for flight. Laugh to win. We do it all. Real world gear for people who live and play in unforgiving environments like spring break, family events, and changing that tire in the Mojave or wherever it is. Are we going to Vegas? We'll change it there. Throw me the big ink. Hit me back. Ink, the original. InkTheOriginal.com. The new Roth show, the new Roth, live in front of your naked, steaming eyes. And I want to go to Las Vegas. And I don't mean like Viva. I don't mean shticky. I don't mean funny. I don't mean ironically sort of making fun of it. And, I remember something that I wasn't there for. I mean, take that shit seriously. Become the king of Las Vegas. And I need a queen of Las Vegas. And I can tell you who would do the absolute best show, because I need somebody who can work the grind. Okay, I need a gal who can do the second verse in You Really Got Me. And I need somebody who can give me a run for my money when it comes, can't you see me standing here? And really fucking mean it, okay? I don't mean like sort of kind of do it, and I don't mean troop dancing. You got to be able to improvise. I was sitting with a bunch of the fellas over at Henson, and I think you might have been there. I was talking to, I went to the John Mayer show, okay? And I was talking to a bunch of the fellas from the band. I was talking with John and stuff, and we were discussing stagecraft. How do you interact with a crowd? How do you interact with people as one? How do you interact with people individually? What's the dynamic there? Routinely, I've been asked by many folks, industry professional, saying, so what do you do? Is there a technique to this? Is there, a corner to cut? How do I talk to the crowd? Because a lot of guys profess, wow, I can't get past, here's one that goes a little like this. Here's one that gets asked for a lot. Here's one off our third album. And I share with them directly, stop talking in the audience. Talk to the band. Then include the audience. That was the mystery secret of the Rat Pack. Pure and simple. I promise nothing's absolute. Absolutely. that was the secret to it, because they hung around the piano at the piano bar, having a great time together with the musicians. And every now and then they'd look over at us and go, you know what I mean, don't you? Just like if you were with your friends, with your pals, etc. And I always try to turn, and I would always say, here's an example. Look at the drummer and go, Ray likes really skinny chicks. And then you look over at Tom and go, you fucking know what I mean, right? I didn't actually say anything, but now we're co-conspirators, and you're ready for me to share something. Okay? And that requires improvisational ability, because you can't just script everything. Okay, people, here's one that we really love, and I want to send. This isn't K-pop. I say it with respect, but this isn't pro forma. You can't just robot through this. This isn't troupe dancing, okay? Where you bite nails. That's the actual technical term that the gals will use with you, the choreographers, the fellas, everybody on Broadway. Bite nails tonight, kids. And I mean, get it. And you'll see that in the dancing, troupe dancing constantly. It's everybody from, Timberlake to Ariana. It looks great. But it's one style, one speed. And I'm all about that 17-speed off-road model with a thing from a coffee cup from Starbucks. With the, the thing that, what do they call, shock absorbers? Both ends, thanks. Yeah. And, big cruiser handlebars, all right. You got to be able to adopt that attitude in whatever you do. Again, it's going to range from cowboy boots to cold stone rock and roll. I'm the guy who walked out with buttless chaps in front of 350,000 people at the US Festival. And they paid me to do it and asked me for more. And you know what? Full disclosure, I gave it to them more. About 20 years more, Judge. Those same pants launched Shakira's career and Jessica Alba's arguably movie stealing scene in Sin City. There's very popular pants. Gloria Estefan. Same pair of pants. Actually, same pair. I rent them out. Don't love me, baby. Rent me. The new Roth show. All right. I'm going to tell you in a second who this is, because I've been mulling, and that didn't work. So I started grinding. Who am I going to get with? Because, you got obvious rock arrows, obvious rock and roll fellas. Great. You got obvious rock and roll bands. It's a cavalcade of hits, all expected. What you go to Vegas for is the unexpected. Oh, yeah, right, vintage, baby. And I think I know who that is, because you got to be able to go booch, booch, booch. I just got invited to Europe to do the same kind of show that we did over at Ultra. I don't mean like a show or a country, the whole fucking continent, Tom. You got to have that attitude. And you got to be able to, as well as croon, okay? I make fun sometimes about the voice of Lamar. But that's got to be part of your DNA too, baby. And I think I know who actually has that. Plus, it's no good unless you're really having a decent time, and I don't mean fun, because hard work doesn't always mean a lot of laughs. You got to really, more often than not, be entertained by the presence of the other individual, because it's completely art-centric. Otherwise, you're going to go to Las Vegas and hire the people from Cirque du Soleil, which looks great for Cirque du Soleil. But now you got every single female artist out there dangling. That's the technical term. Okay. I saw Lady Gaga. I'm a big fan, okay? And she was dangling. And she's got the strap that, the climbers wear up at Camp 4 Yosemite or whatever. And they fly her over the audience. And she's kind of dangling and moving back and forth. And I know she means well, but, she's kind of moving back and forth like the Little Rascals have a Christmas play. And I tell you, all right, Tom, you're going to be Santa. He said, ain't no Santa in Shakespeare. Well, there is now. Get up there. And me and Alfalfa fuck up hanging on the rope, and you start swinging back and forth, and, Juliet and the rest of the elves are all ducking like this. I love Lady Gaga. They put a strap on her, like a climbing harness, winched her up about 15 feet, 5 more than the top of a basketball hoop, brought her over there. You get a little extra for your money. Gaga, nice pancreas. But we're going to need somebody who's so sweet you get pancreatic shock from one kiss. Boom! Rot all the teeth out, your lying head, Tom Sarowski. And if she blows you a kiss, you got to feel it, right? And she's got to have the sense of humor to be able to do that, like a Bette Midler. She's got to be able to have the savvy of a Sarah Silverman, okay? And you got to have that class and elan, like a Rod Stewart and a Tina Turner. If you put those two together, it's incandescent. Yeah, they made their fortunes. And of course, management will always be squeaking and, nah, we don't need, I'll tell you what you need. What you need is keep your artist happy, because otherwise you're doing 25 songs and you're troupe dancing and you're ending up having to lip sync your shit and you don't have anybody to improvise with who understands your references, your jokes, or where you're going after the show. And if you're just in the rock band, most rock bands hate each other by, what do you think, the 5th album? Yeah. So you got to have somebody that's a co-conspirator, because the first thing I would do is go to all the shows, take a look, see, because whoever's going to work with me has to be able to work from Cirque du Soleil, that's the sexy version of it, and understand the mechanism of Blue Man Group, because that's a real kinky, quirky kind of a modernist. It's avant-garde. Still, it's something that's unique. And you got to be able to understand Garth Brooks. Not because he's popular, because he's just fucking great. Okay? And you got to be able to be entertained by it, because you can't sit outside and observe. My parents used to do that. You know what your son did today? Why is he always my son when he fucks up? Well, their son was sitting 2 feet away. So you can't go sit outside of Garth Brooks like myself. You got to actually enjoy, appreciate, and know when I turn to you and go, no offense, that's shit. And know what I'm referring to. Okay? It's not a personal statement. It's a musical one. All right? You have to actually have those fascinations. Can't fake it. Can't fake it. Can't fight the feeling. You got to feel for all of it. I think that if you really, really brought a double show, because nobody does that anymore, and you start to go and visit the other folks, you start to robot a little bit, when you start to go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, this has to happen because the computerized lights have to sync up with the preconceived music. You might be triggering, that's fine, I'm not complaining about that at all. Put a boom in the room, okay, you got a track, all right, but that starts to take precedence to those early elements. You want to be improvising, right? You want to be able to make it happen, Captain. So the very first thing you start off, first thing they hear is a cappella, Acapulco. That means no music at all. A big gangbuster loud sound that goes like this.
I'm gonna make sweet love to you. Get ready, 'cause here I come. Get ready, 'cause here I come now. Get ready, 'cause here I come.
At first, you don't know where it's coming from. And then you realize it's coming in from behind you on your 6, man. And it's soulful, it's a cappella, and it's the real deal, okay? And everybody's got cordless mics, because these aren't backup singers. Backup singers always stand off to the side. There's usually 3 to 5, and they're great, but they're considered support, okay? And we ain't doing no support. This is going to roll throughout the show, on and off, the way the Temptations and the Four Tops and the Supremes work. Can you dig? So when I'm standing up there standing, the king with his queen, or she's up there by herself, she's got them right with her, right around her. And all those steps and shit that you start to do, man, check out the original Temptations actually doing these tunes on, the different shows in the 60s and everything. This is where I learned to do my stuff. This is my most compelling factors right there. I'm the student. Those are my mentors. Look out. And you start to bring it into shape like that, so it's a real musical event. You try and sing as much of it as you can, which means you don't got to go do 25 songs. Let's split the deal, baby. Might not seem like it goes together, but they said the same thing to the guy who invented the Reese peanut butter cup. Well, he's driving a cigarette boat to his own island. Reese's Pieces Island, or whatever it's called. You understand what I'm saying. first time somebody took a chocolate wafer and said, I'm going to put some white shit in the middle? No, whoa. Oh, that's pretty good. And I'm making fun, but I ain't. There's no such thing as jokes around here. It's just truth dipped in sugar. So let's set the scene. You don't just have a regular open stage, whatever. Is that a proscenium stage? Whatever it is. A proscenium? I think that's a part that some people have to use a sponge on the end of a stick to get to. Why? No? Sorry, I was just watching wrestling. Okay. A proscenium stage or whatever you have means it's not engaging. So let's go planetarium. Let's go all the way around and all the way over the top, because most of the places that are in Las Vegas have really long vaulted ceilings so that you can hang things and so forth. Make your own ceiling. Orale! How many times have you been to the Dorladesi? You got a taco truck parked over there. You're having a quinceañera over here. There's a little bit of a dance contest over here. There's an Uzi in the cooler. Oh, shit. Right? You make your own ceiling with, the bulbs on the wires. Okay, you've been to 1,000 outdoor, fiestas, barbecues, beach parties, etc. You create a false roof. And once you've done that kind of glow, you don't just do single bulbs, but you run those cords, and you only do it about 10, 12 feet up above the heads, a little bit higher. You follow so that you really, really have an intimacy that starts to, you can have 2,500 people, but you start to compress the environment a little bit. It'll actually start to contain the sound. And all the way around the building, you do a dance floor. Even though the show has rock and roll, arguably big time rock and roll in it, for the first time ever, you're going to surround it the way Ultra does. Those bass bins, look at the bass bins I have just for, personal, just for the neighbors, actually. That's just my sense of humor. I could get my whole body in the bass bin, actually. I would try, but there's a frame on it there. I could do it. You surround sound the audience. Okay, I was there when the wall first happened, all right? And they did that. Nobody ever had seen that. Nobody in that kind of a rock and roll audience had experienced what dance floors around the world have been doing for decades and decades. And you create sense around. You create boom in the room. Everything you've come to expect at the Cinerama Dome from virtually every great, superb movie out there, you now have there surrounded, okay? And you can do all the walls in that kind of, what do you call it? It's digital, it's not pixels, but it's...
LEDs.
LEDs.
Yes.
And you buy it in rolls, like carpet, and you see everybody using small bits of it. Oh, we'll do the drum riser, and we can cover the amps with it or whatever. Why wouldn't you do completely around the audience and do the walls and part of the ceiling? Because now you're inside the liquid crystal set. Hey, my voice sounds good saying that. Inside the liquid crystal set. Inside your imagination. And anything that you create, and it would be art-centrically designed, because you got to have a gal who's got wit, wisdom, pizzazz, and basically the same haircut. Miley Cyrus. Think about that one while I try and sell you something. Somewhere, there is an island. And upon this island, she waits. That's as far as I got. I don't know if she's waiting. I'm a professional waiter. I wait for the bus. I wait for the plane. I wait for the taxi, the Uber. And usually it's outdoors. 10,000 sunburns, 22 countries, 14 broken hearts. I'm an expert. Let's head for the beach. Nope, not that one. Up to Tar Beach. Inner city, baby. Hit it with that 50 stick. Looking good on you, those tattoos, and keep them that way. 100% organic, unless it isn't. Sometimes it's not, just like me. I don't have a problem with poison. Wednesday night? Friday, about 8. That's what I thought. Hey, nice tattoo. Hit it with that 50 stick. Won't open up in the backpack, your back pocket, the glove compartment, the wetsuit, or your bondage gear. Ow! Hit me, baby. Laugh to win. We do it all. Real world gear for people who live and play in unforgiving environments like spring break, family events, changing a tire in the Mojave. We'll change it in Vegas. We're going to Vegas, right? Bring the 50 stick. Eat the original. Eat the original.com. The Roth Report. Food news and cannabis reviews. Roth Report, food news and cannabis reviews. I understand that it'll be that tag there that gets your interest the most. So we'll start right there. We're going to cut to the crash. Roth here, full disclosure. I am the bionic dude. I have finally moved from recreational use to completely medical use here. I'm a before breakfast guy, okay? I'm a combat hippie, peace, love, and heavy weapons. So I celebrate both sides of the coin when it comes to cannabis culture. There's a whole world out there that's involved of everything from the lighting, the tone, the help, the way people dress, the music that was played. Think of the way that a food critic or a gourmet newsletter might actually work. And then you got to think in terms of policing the place up a little bit, because we have a lot of issues to discuss here. Packaging, the way things are tested. It's not all great news out there. As someone who smokes every day, or someone who can take a handful, I put it together with the tea, and that's great for me. I've had 7 big-time visits to the surgeon. That means $20,000 a piece or more. And if it wasn't for Dr. Watkins, Dorr, Duffy, and a whole lot of other guys, my career would have ended a long time ago. I've consumed my entire body weight 10 times in virtually every possible substance that'll kill pain or get you a little go fast. And it has a downside effect. So I am a proponent. I'm a supporter of what goes on with the cannabis nation. On the other hand, there's a lot of things that are bugging me, and I'm going to raise my hand. I understand, support the movement, but I do not support some pencil dick in a basement of the inner city somewhere spraying black flag and raid into a plant and planting it in some kind of Roundup horseshit fertilizer, cancer-causing, Jesus, my kid was born with 7 toes kind of nonsense. And that happens constantly. So I support the police, and I support everybody in the uniform who set the dogs on that and closed the door on them. Surprise, I'm a combat hippie, and I don't support any poison in that fucking apple either. Tom? Turn the apple into a bong, and when we're done, we're going to eat it. That was the food part. I do not have attention deficit syndrome of any kind, and I'm not a stoner. I smoked a joint, fell asleep under a piece of newspaper in the staging area, woke up, ran the New York City Marathon. Full disclosure, I came in just in front of the wheelchair folks and the folks who were wearing things like flippers and snorkel gear just to say that they did it. The guy who wore the bunny suit, that kind of a thing. But I ran the New York City Marathon. I'm a full force, full function cat. You can tell from my tone and temperament here. I do not support stuff that comes over the border at all. Thank God for the guys who popped the shit out of that. Watching Narcos on television is great. I just binged it. I caught walking pneumonia, and for 2 weeks I watched virtually every episode. The Mexican part, the Portuguese-speaking Brazilian part, I recommend it. In real life, you want nothing to do with that. Nothing. That's garbage fucking poison. And God bless the guys who jump out of the helicopters and bust that horse shit that is grown improperly with poisonous, nonsensical trash. Hey, what are we, Bruce Willis in the fast food nation saying, there's already a little shit, what's a little more? Hey, what about none? Would you ever tolerate somebody at a pharmacy cutting your penicillin pills in half so they could get some more pills of it and putting some sort of, it's just a little bit of poison, and you find out your daughter or your wife isn't getting better and nobody knows why? So I'm going to raise my hand and I'm going to salute those who go out of their way, like artisanal folks who make that super fine small batch scotch. They dedicate their entire life to creating that. The chefs who spend their entire life? And what about the folks who are raising those chickens and the lamb and the pork that is super, super organic, that they really do take care and really do care about it? So we're going to celebrate them too. That's where we start. And what do we do once your gummy kicks in? I want to take a walk because, again, I don't support you driving. Yeah, we all did it. My first public service announcement was on FM radio a gazillion years ago. I didn't even know what public service was. They said, will you do a public service announcement? I said, sure. They flipped it on. I think it was on K West or one of these. I said, kids, don't drink and drive. But if you do, use Fountain Avenue. And they never asked me to do another public service announcement. And yes, we all used Fountain Avenue, if you know what I'm saying or not saying at all. Having gotten now to this point, I am surprised I miraculously survived a lot of my bad decisions. And, as far as pot being a gateway drug, I'm sorry. Pot is a gateway drug for donuts. And we're going to have some artisanal donuts in Eagle Rock. Pot is a gateway drug for Reese peanut butter cups. I don't think anybody's prepared to fist fight me over that one. The original gateway drug, Tom's trying not to laugh. Okay, this is the Roth Report. Take it serious. Okay. The original gateway drug, and Tom, you're from Ohio. Nobody could clarify this more equitably than yourself. Okay, he doesn't have a microphone. Like a pothead, but he doesn't smoke pot. Just hanging out with me. Okay. Pot will make your memory better, more efficient, but it will also make it shorter. We see both sides of the thing here. The original gateway drug is an ice-cold Budweiser, not the tall one, the short one. A Marlboro cigarette and a pretty girl on an August night. I come from Indiana with a guitar on my knee. The Roth Report. Food news and cannabis reviews. Miley Cyrus. What an amazing idea. I think she's about the only one that I could possibly perform with that you can depend on her being able to nail it. You've worked with her, Tom. Where have you worked with her?
I've worked with her at Henson before, and I've seen her perform, and she's pretty incredible.
Where did she perform? How's her voice when you've seen her perform? Tell us. Come on.
I saw her perform at the tribute concert for Chris Cornell. She absolutely, completely brought the house down singing one of his songs. Nobody knew it was going to happen. I don't think anybody thought it would happen. She did it. It was incredible.
And she's got a balladeering voice to where she can talk very, very sensibly. She's got an amazing sense of humor and values, priorities, fortunes aside. We have the same haircut. It says so much. I didn't decide based on that, but there fucking is. I'm going to embrace it and face it. I'm facing it. I'm embracing it. I'm putting it in the figure 4 standing Indian leg lock. I'm available, baby. What a great idea, right?
Yeah.
And you need somebody who's got the sense of humor that's a little bit midnight, a little bit downtown, and somebody who's been around showbiz for, this is a technical term, a fucking long time. Okay? Even though there's a difference in there, come on, I never stopped being 23, and she's got the soul of somebody a little bit more advanced than what it says on her driver's license. No, we'll never get married. But what an amazing... No. This isn't the Gaga story or something. This is fireworks. This is sparks. Because the combination of the two audiences, no matter, you go back and forth. Come on, you went to see Fleetwood Mac, and you had to sit through, what was it, Lindsay or whatever? Okay, you had to sit through secondhand news in order to hear Stevie singing The Landslide. Okay, and you did, and you smiled, and it was great. Okay, here, you don't have to smile through anything. It's all perfect. And most of my material, if you start splitting up verses and you start sharing choruses and like that, perfect ranges, perfect grind. She's got the perfect presence for it because you got to have laugh to win, like the name of my company, Laugh to Win. It's got nothing to do with funny birthday cakes. You got to be able to laugh like a pirate. You got to be able to take the swings, just like Texas Hold'em. And you got to have what are you doing after this? And be able to go anywhere in that city and not just be accepted, but feel at home. Because between us, that's everywhere. Virtually everywhere. From the Houston rodeo to Ultra, and I'm including Europe, et cetera, because now it's the epicenter. It's the epicenter. Can you imagine Dave Roth, Miley Cyrus go and give away the award to the winner of the Rugby Sevens team, to the team from Fiji? Just the photo alone's worth the career. Come on. I don't actually know who won it. Maybe we'll find out. But come on. In terms of just getting measured for the costumes, we invented ourselves, because otherwise it's just one person and you're going to get outnumbered. Management, publicity, stylists, the guru, the yoga instructor, the plyometrics guy, they're all going to weigh in. You're going to get outnumbered, and you're not going to be able to invent from the inside out. We really think you should dangle. You're going to hear that 4 languages unless you have an ally, unless you have somebody on your wing, unless you have somebody with as much or more distance than you do. And you got to have a little bit of tough in you, all right? There's a part of, if everybody can digest it, it's probably baby food. So there needs to be a little bit of an edge to that person. I can't think of anybody else who'd be even close to appropriate for that. Now, is this a likelihood thing or whatever? Anytime you start to weigh in on this kind of a thing outside of the artists, it's management, it's agency, and so forth. And the dollars and cents start to pile up. But I always start painting with giant big easels and then back into reality. I also do the same thing with my colleagues and the folks that I work with. If somebody doesn't want to answer you for something and you say, okay, when will the pizza be ready? Oh, I don't know. It's ready when it's ready. Okay, that's a good idea, but we got 7 people here and we're all working. So will it be ready in 2 weeks? No, it's a pizza. Great. We've ascertained that. Will it be ready in 1 week? No, it's a fucking pizza. Okay. Will it be ready today? And see how we back into the truth until finally we get down to, okay, what's with the fucking questions? Okay. Will it be ready in 45 minutes? Yes. And that's what you're going to have to get to, working and working and working with the usual surrounding folks who are just going to want a cookie cutter and just say, hey, Gaga dangled, J-Lo dangled. I think you can dangle much more efficiently with me, baby. I've got the entrance already figured out. And at the very end, when you start the encore, it's try with a little help from my friends. Between our 2 voices, oh my God. And when you take a break, you have a narrator like in the movie Something About Mary. Remember the 2 fellas who play the guitar and they sing a little stanza or 2 about the narrative of what's happening in the song, or it's appropriate to the narrative or whatever. At that point, you break to Taj Mahal. The line will reach halfway across Nevada. Build it and they shall arrive. Says it in the book, or it should. Call me, baby. You don't have to love me. Rent me. The new Roth Show. Which way's Vegas, Tom? Start up the truck. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sands Amazing Celebrity Showroom is unbelievably proud to present, one time only, get ready for Miley Cyrus and David Lee Roth. I'm down here at ringside. I have a perfect view. It's an amazing view, and it's a giant oyster shell, and it's opening. There's Miley, Pearl of the South. She's just stepping up. Oh my God, it's a surfboard. It's Roth. He's dangling. It's dangling, I think, is the technical term, but he's doing it better than anybody else in town. It's a brand new original tune that Miley and Dave put together here. This is called Giddy Up. They're boot stomping. Can't remember, sometimes good guys don't wear white. I will be your long tall Texan tonight. Straight down the highway as fast as you can go. original transitions. I wrote 2 hours worth of this material here. I even sang the bass and drums. New guitar player, ready for Vegas, baby. Hot kid, 25. Costume change. If you enjoy the music that you're hearing in the background of the Roth Show, the new Roth Show, I wrote and played everything. Tom mixed and mastered, and it's a multi-combinational digi-future thing based on retro-hetero antics, hardcore jollies across the trackless void of time and space. Barefoot techno babies wired to the sound. Look, I'm riffing already. I got, what do we have? 3 albums worth of this material, so even the transitions, baby, listen. Three girls, an incredibly long red licorice rope, the mind reels. She begins to pivot, and they wrap her. They wrap her up slowly, red licorice. You're listening to The New Roth Show. NewRothShow.com. Seriously getting some great offers in Las Vegas, but it's always, we want to play Van Halen tunes, or whether you're at the Ultra or anything in between. Yeah, but kind of been there, done that. This isn't my first time through the rodeo. And yeah, I love Rod Stewart, but think of Rod Stewart with Tina Turner, baby. Ooh! Oh, no, I'm thinking you're not supposed to do that on the radio, but I drove right off the road and kept on going. Where are you going? I just told you, Las Vegas! The Roth Show.